The original season 5, episode 11, Till the Day I Die. So, this episode, I would say, had three clearly important storylines. Of course, it was the wedding between Freya and Keelin. Then we have the premonition of death for Hope. So, I'm curious how that'll play out, of course. And then we have what, personally, I think was probably the most entertaining storyline, which was the flashback that actually revealed that Elijah did know who Haley was, even though he knew her by a completely different name. He at least recognized her. Like when he saw her, it was like, holy crap, this is that woman that I had like this insane connection with for that one night. And he knew who she was, but of course, in that moment, she was just a member of the family that was like basically his family's enemy. So it was a very interesting kind of revelation there, and it makes it like even worse that he let her die because he still, it wasn't just nothing. It wasn't just like this blank thing. It was, he knew who she was, and it was like, well, that is crazy. Like I thought that was a really great storyline just because of the revelation of that and how it kind of affects Elijah even worse. Like it was already this thing, with him gaining his memories. The first thing is I let the woman I love die. Like he clearly could have helped. Like it was just right there. That could have been it, but he didn't. So it was already bad enough. And then it's him, like telling Klaus of what happened and everything. And it was just really good. I really enjoyed that storyline. And of course, by the end, I was happy to see that. Of course, the family comes together by the end, which they kind of have to. It's like they got 2 episodes left; they can't be enemies. But it was really cool, and of course, we have the wedding where there's this idea. It's like, well, let's get married today and kind of just celebrate and keep things going and embrace despite recent losses. Let's kind of keep things going. Let's go forward and let's get married. And then Freya's like, well, kind of turns out she doesn't want kids, so that's typically a big conversation for people getting getting married. But of course that ends up working out. Everything's fine. Vincent is like the only character that actually didn't show up for the wedding because that was the thing where he was like, I don't think I can be here right now, and that actually does end up happening. Like he actually leaves. Elijah was the other person, but he ends up staying. So definitely cool. Davina shows up in this episode, so that was nice. And of course, they reference the fact that she lost like her best friend, and that kind of allows her to talk with Hope, and she gives her a bit of advice that Josh gave her. So I thought that was super cool. But unfortunately, we find out that Hope is basically destined to die. Like there is no real way around it. It's just like, yeah, this is pretty much it. Like she's dead and gone. She had weeks, days, potentially. Like they don't really know. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out because I thought, the basic thing was just going to be like this crazy ending where they almost end this series kind of like they started the season where everyone has to be split up and they almost have to completely cut off, always and forever. Like they legitimately can't be together. So I was curious if that's where they were headed, but it seemed like that's not an option anymore. Like they can't take this power, this darkness away from her and then, split it up again. It seemed like that was kind of a one-time deal. So now it's seemingly game over. Of course, they'll find some insane super cure, or maybe they won't. That would be like a super twist ending. Like if Hope died, it'll be like, I don't think that'll happen. That would be insane. It'd be like huge props to the writers for doing something as insane as that. But I highly doubt that that's what we should expect. But I'm definitely excited to see what happens here. I mean, they don't have many options. Like I said, at least they didn't bring it up as far as them taking the darkness out of her again and splitting it up into the family. So I assume that that's not an option because I feel like that would have been the first thing they said was like, well, let's just do that again. It sucks, but let's just do that again. Like, even though that's exactly what created things as they are right now, we have to. Like, there's no choice. And it would almost be like, recycling what they did, except it would be harder for the family because it's like, well, we lost Haley because of what happened and Elijah having to have his memories wiped. That caused like this crazy cascading effect on the torment of the family right now. But it'll be interesting. And like I said, since they didn't bring that up at all, even though they probably will reference it a little bit, I don't think that'll end up being the case either. But definitely excited to see where we're headed. Definitely enjoyed this episode. Another big thing is that of course I can't remember his name, but Cammy's cousin, he's I mean, it's the end of the series, so I assume he's not going to get killed off in these next 2 episodes. But he's just like, I don't know what the deal is with that family. Maybe they're actually cursed. Like, that seems to be like the repeating thing with this family. It's like, they come in, they find out what's going on, and then somewhere down the line, they're either turned evil or they're just straight up killed or something bad happens to them. And with it ending, it'll probably be happier this time around. It won't be like, this guy ends up dying. I believe Declan is his name, or maybe I'm drawing a name from like somebody totally different. I don't remember. But I was like, all right, that's interesting. Of course, Vervain and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see where that goes, even though it's only 2 episodes. I feel like that might tie into Vincent kind of coming back and wanting things to be completely different. I don't know if they're going to somehow actually get rid of all the vampires. And, because at this point, it's like only the originals are left. And people who aren't like the crazy alpha vampire fanatic people. So it's like normal vampires who follow Marcel and then the original. So I I'm just curious how that's going to play out, because they seem, with it being the last couple of episodes, it's interesting that they're kind of bringing that idea in, and it's like, well, this isn't late in the game, this is the end of the game, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. So I'm definitely curious how that's going to end up playing out in these last couple of episodes. But certainly enjoyed this one, of course. I would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And I would love to know your predictions. We're going into, I believe, the last 2 episodes. Of course, what's going to happen with Hope. In general, all the storylines that are going down. What is Vincent's, part going to be? What's going to happen with the human faction kind of coming back into the fold, if they end up doing that anyway, with, like I said, 2 episodes to go. I would love to know your predictions for these last 2. Like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.